Today I want to talk about Clint Wright. He used to run a website called Crystal DNP. He was sentenced recently to 7 years in federal prison for selling DNP as under various websites, also known as 2-dinitrophenol, under various websites disguised as fertilizers, candles, and bee pollen. I want to look closely at a few of the documents here so you guys can get a sense of what happened. The first document here is the indictment, which goes into all the various crimes that were committed, the sale of the drugs, how it was marketed, and soon thereafter, you have the plea agreement where the defendant admits his guilt. What makes this case different, though, is that the government sought an enhancement on the federal guidelines. The federal guidelines are there to give the judge a sense of what he can charge, but the U.S. attorney can ask for more time if a crime is particularly bad. And in this case, the government did seek an upward variance and departure from the guidelines, and the reasons why these were sought are because the way it was marketed. Here, the government says it failed to label it as what it was. He sold it uh, on various websites and made close to $500,000. But what makes his sale of this product particularly bad, leading to the enhancement, is that 3 customers died that are confirmed, which means there could very well be more people that died from this. He also used sophisticated tactics to ensure it would go unregulated. He used a candle website and asked people to say that he was that they were purchasing candles and things like that. The government goes into it a little bit more here and saying that um, he was selling DNP as a pesticide and then used it as bee pollen. And of course, they had a lot of evidence as to how exactly that was done. Uh, the defendant, for his part, submitted letters and photos and some other documents to lower his sentence. This first one is very interesting. He says, reflecting back on my acts, I realized I was totally gullible to believe selling DNP was a good idea. I took people at face value when they said it was no big deal, that its dangers were over exaggerated. I bought into it and got caught up in the business aspect of it in order to help my family. Now, there are a lot of people out there selling DNP that are saying that it's no big deal and that its dangers are over exaggerated. This should tell you those people are wrong. Those people are, in fact, criminals, and you should not listen to them. And of course, this submission goes on with photos of his family. There's a submission from his mom showing that the impact this is going to have on his family if he gets a harsh sentence. And it's actually very sad to see the impact that this is going to have on his loved ones. The judge did not really take that into account. He uh, did sentence him as close to his family as possible, but gave the term that the government wanted of 7 years. And this really just goes to show that, number one, do not consume GMP. It is dangerous, and it doesn't matter who you are. The folks that died here range from healthy 20-year-olds to middle-aged people, and it'll kill you. It's a Russian roulette. But also consider that the people selling you DNP are engaged in criminal activity, whether they call it not for human consumption, whether they call it fertilizer, whether they call it candles. It's a very dangerous act. Protect yourself and your family. Do not consume or purchase this drug.